recently showed you how I made this angular looking shelving. Well, now I need something to complement it. So let's get to it. This build's going to have a few precarious cuts where the fence is going to get way too close to the saw blade, so I set up a sacrificial fence using some masking tape and super glue. So what's the magic of a 67.5 degree angle? Well, 90 degrees minus 67.5 is 22.5 degrees. And 22.5 degrees times 2 is 45 degrees. And I am trying to make a 45 degree angle using 2 pieces of wood. Additionally, because the pieces of wood I'm using are plywood, I want to be able to hide the edges that show the different layers of the plywood. That's the reason I'm trying to bisect the 45 degree angle right in half. Alright, so I've done a little trimming on this piece and everything meets up nice, 90 degrees, well 45s on these and 90 degrees here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of hold these out where I want them to be in the end. That's pretty good. And then I'm gonna mark where these line up. And that's where I need to trim this one down to. Beautiful. That will work. So there's our triangle. So you might want to ask, hey Fur, why are you going through all this trouble trying to make this geometric shelving? And that's a fair question. So this is all being installed in a really small square Airbnb, and we wanted some shelving that would have some character and break up the boxy layout of the rooms. So rather than making boring square shelves, we decided to give them some angles. So as you might have noticed, this is all assembled just using wood glue, no screws, and I can assure you it is still very strong. Now the way I wanted to attach this to the wall was using floating shelf brackets to actually hide it, to make it really just look like it was coming off the wall. So once I got the carcass of the shelves assembled, it was time to drill the holes for those brackets. Travel depth for my drill press wasn't deep enough to actually accommodate the shelving brackets I had, which were 6 inches deep, so I did have to finish these holes off by hand. One thing I did run into by doing this is I did accidentally go through the side of one of the pieces, which you can see right here, but a little touch of wood putty and some paint in a minute and you won't even notice it. But before I could get to the paint, I needed to hide the nasty edge of this plywood, so I used some iron-on edge banding. This was birch edge banding. I just cut it into the shapes that I needed and just ironed it on in the shop, and it held really well. And once I get paint on it, you'll never know it wasn't a solid piece of wood. And as always, we'll leave this part to the professionals. So this wasn't the easiest thing to mount, but what I wound up doing was just putting all the brackets where they're supposed to go in the shelving unit, and then drilling screws into the screw holes of the brackets into the shelving unit itself, into the wood, and then leave those heads of the screws just protruding slightly. And then I took the whole shelving unit and just pressed it into the sheetrock of the wall, and those heads of the screws will actually leave an indentation to where now I know the screw pattern. I could drill the holes in the wall, set my sheetrock anchors, and then mount the whole thing. Now, if you haven't seen the video of us making the complimentary shelving that goes with this, click this video right here. Otherwise, until next time, take a chance and make something. And if you still haven't clicked away, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you don't miss our next video.